I want to share. Someone shared a very short Rav Tzaddik with me tonight. I just want to share it with the Olam. It's a beautiful thought. Rav Tzaddik says, "What is the avodah of Shvat? What's the avodah of Shvat?" Says Rav Tzaddik, the avodah of Shvat is that we're in middle of the Yimei Shovavim. Shovavim is to work on in Yoni Kedusha. The beginning of Shovavim was Sur Meirah. The second half of Shovavim, says Rav Tzaddik, is Asay Toif. Zok Rav Tzaddik, what does it mean Asay Toif? Eating L'Shem Shemayim. Arkan Divrei Rav Tzaddik. I heard Grossman, he wanted to explain that there's a goyin that says the shevet of Shabbat is usher. What's usher? Usher is luxuries. Dane usher. Luxuries. So what do we do during Shvat? Is we take the luxuries. What is food? What's food? You're asking what fruit did they eat hundreds of years ago before they had all these geshmaka fruits? In a chanami. But what is the avoid of Shvat? Is to take the gashmias and elevate it l'shem shemayim, which in one way is the easiest, but yet most difficult avodah. In one way, it's the easiest thing. We're not saying to abstain. We're not saying not to have. We're saying just to take the gashmias, take the physicalities, and it sounds so simple. But in the truth, first of all, even at a superficial level, it's not simple at all. If it was so simple, I don't think we'd all have such challenges making brachas. Let's just be honest. Bracha achrayna, I feel it's been a lost art, unfortunately. What should I tell you? I'm just going to be blunt and honest. Bracha achraynas, we're just thanking Hashem for the foods. And, what's the big deal? Okay. Even benching, he's benching a deraisa, okay. During the month of Elul, maybe I'll bench from a bencher, and the rest of the time, maybe I'll say, I bench. Okay, let's just be honest. When you start singing benching with your kids, you realize, wow, benching's long. What were all those extra words over there? I don't know. How come I generally could finish it in like 14 seconds? Zakter of Tzaddik, the avodah of Shvat is a seitaif. And I just think for one moment, if we look a little bit deeper, and we think, taking the Gashmias and elevating it, right? So simple. But if you elevate the Gashmias, that means that the Gashmias has to have a tachlis. That means that the physicalities have to have a purpose. That means it's not a life of physical for physical. It's not a life of pleasure for pleasure. It's pleasure for purpose. Something we spoke about in Shul. It's a difficult point, but this is life. Life is, yes, pleasure, but pleasure for a purpose. Yes, have something geshmak, but elevate it. Make it a siyam. Make it a chizik for Torah. Make it a chizik for Yavedas Hashem. Make it a chizik for having a good day, whatever you want. But life has a purpose. The avodah of Shvat is Asay Toiv. We finished the first half of Surah Meirah. We finished the first half of the really dark nights of Shavim. We're in the second half. Now they were getting a little bit brighter. We're getting a little bit lighter. We're getting into the trees are going to start blossoming, as we started talking about. The avoid is the asay toiv. Do good. But in a deeper way, the do good is to take the gashmi, to take the physical and elevate it. So have the physical, but it has to have a purpose. And it's difficult. When your physicalities need a purpose, then you need to start answering up what we're doing in life. You start answering. Do I really need it? Do I really need it? Maybe you do. No problem. There's a level of luxury that ain't a chanami. There's a level of pleasure that's true. We do need. And even if we don't need, maybe there's a level, or Yisrael Salanter used to say, if you find a level of luxury you don't need, trick your Yitzhahara. How do you trick your Yitzhahara? He said, take the luxury that you know you don't need. I don't need it. Whatever your example is, I'm not going to give examples. Say, you know what? I'm going to do this ruchnias, and as a treat, I'll get myself that. That's what Yisrael Salanter used to say, Bal Musar. You really want to go to this fancy restaurant, and you're like, come on, it's ridiculous, it's obscene. What am I blowing that money on? I don't even have the money. Okay, it's a different schmooze. We're not getting involved in spending money we don't have. But let's say you're blowing the credit card. Yeah, let's say you do have the money. Says of Yisrael, so do it. So, make yourself a chizik. If I daven for this amount of days, if I learn this amount of time, if I finish this amount of chazara, if I do this amount of things, and then all of a sudden, then it becomes ruchni. I'll end with a ma'aser where Ephraim Waxman shares. It's such I think it's a famous ma'aser. He says it was a person that he used to drive through the city. I hope I get the details right. And he used to go and he used to be driving by some very inappropriate sites. and he wanted to work in his Shmir Zeinayim. So he said that every time he doesn't look, he's gonna put $5 in a dollar, $5, whatever the number is. He's gonna put it in whatever it was. And obviously, in the beginning, it was more difficult, but he worked in it. When he drove down that place, he didn't look up to the right, and he just focused. The next year, Hanukkah, or next year, amount of time it was, he realized he has a substantial amount of money, and he bought a menorah. When he lit that menorah, the light of that menorah, he took a challenge. He took it, and he channeled it to something good. He channeled it, and he had this Geshmaka silver menorah. Okay, this guy wanted a silver menorah. You know what? I'll be honest. Maybe even buy yourself a nice car if that's what one is holding. But do it for a tachlis. Do it for a purpose, not gashmi for gashmi, not physical for physical. Eating l'shem shamayim is such a simple thing. You sit down to eat, you make a bracha, have 1 ounce of kavana. I think I shared this. Rav Dan Segal shared with my brothers a fruit shlema for his baby. He said, "Say Asher Yatzar from the Ksav." How many times a day do we say Asher Yatzar? You know, the amount of food that we consume and the amount of whatever that we do. You know, there you go. We say Asher Yatzar many times. What's our Asher Yatzars? At the best. What's our Asher Yatzars? He said, say Asher Yatzar, and if you think, well, what's Asher Yatzar? My body functions. Asher Yatzar is one of the most myrdik brachas. Like anyone who's ever been in a hospital, you know, that check mark, you know, pass gas, use the toilet, you know, urine. It's like it's a big deal. It's a big deal. You know, this might sound weird. Yeah, I had a hernia surgery a few months ago. I had hernia surgery. Lemaisa, you could feel it's a wild thing. You literally could feel your internal organs when you're using the toilet because your body clenches up because they just operated inside you. You literally could feel the holding back not to use the bathroom. It's crazy. It's sugar. And we just use the bathroom like Baruch Hashem. We could use the toilet. So he said, "Say Asher Yatzar from the Ksav." Take a minute. Every place in the world now has Asher Yatzar signs. Every place in the world. Kemat. There you go. Every place in the world. So say, stop for 60 seconds. You know, I think we've all seen those pictures. Asher Yatzar, say 60 seconds. I don't even think it takes 60 seconds. I think we can read fast. 30 seconds, 20 seconds. But say it. That is doing things l'shem shemayim. And I'm just adding on that even doing, not just the gashmis l'shem shemayim, even the ruchnis l'shem shemayim. The bracha l'shem shemayim, actually knowing what we're doing. I'm going a lower level. Rav Tzaddik says a higher level. B'siyata d'shmaya, we should be zoicha, and Mirtz Hashem, take the avodah of Shvat, take Asher, take the luxuries b'siyata d'shmaya. And the bracha, I think, is, and the school of that, I think, is that you want the luxuries, utilize them for the right purpose. What does that mean? Why does tzedakah work? Because you made a partnership with Hashem. You said, I'm going to take the luxuries you gave me, I'm going to take the money you gave me, and I'm going to utilize the l'shem shemayim. That is the avodah of Shvat, Zakter Tzaddik, b'siyata d'shmaya. We should all try a little bit, an extra bracha achrayna, an extra kavana, or even just doing things for a purpose, not just unbridled luxury and taiva and pleasure, but a reason why we do things. B'siyata d'shmaya, we should all be zeicha.